Greetings and welcome to Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter and I'll be your host this evening. I want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host this YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45. Let me pause this here. All right, great. And I had to silence the YouTube video I brought up. Anyways, as I was saying, I do these YouTube videos every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch and be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member of the Stunthangar Forum, or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. Now, if you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address or Sparky. The proprietor of Stunthangar will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in, but just enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box over here. And I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show. And understand, sometimes I can't get a word in myself. So be patient, and I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said, I do these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening, starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So come on in then, post your question or comment, and I'll be able to see it then. Now, if you do it after the show during the replay, that the chat box is not available after the live stream is ended. Now, if you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos that Sparky does and the coverage he does. Matter of fact, he's planning on doing coverage at Brodax coming up this weekend and the following week. If you enjoy that, please hit the subscribe button. Please share, comment. All those activities help the YouTube channel grow. And the super chats also help. And we need the super chats to offset the expenses of live streaming live on the at the flying site this coming up week. Now, our Stunthangar YouTube channel memberships, they start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member. I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account, and I don't have to do this. So I'm just doing this to encourage you to do it too. So I'm not being a hypocrite, asking you or trying to sell you something to do that I'm not doing myself. I believe in this program and I care about this hobby, and I hope you feel the same way, and you will show that by action, by supporting us through joining the YouTube channel memberships and doing the super chats. If you don't want a subscription, just do the super chats, but do it on a regular basis. I really appreciate that. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. So if you want to get in touch with me, if you have some comments, some questions that you'd like me to answer, communicate those to me going to my YouTube channel, because I don't check Sparky's YouTube channel and I don't get notifications on Sparky's YouTube channel because this is Sparky's channel. So go to my channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot of me flying his beautiful and light Junar XL, and comment and share and subscribe there as well. I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Thank you very much. And please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children and grandchildren. And without any further ado, I'm now going to post a link at Stunthangar Forum, and the link is posted. All right, this link is posted there at the forum. So now that's how you get into this program. I have people ask me sometimes, how do I get in? Looks like a lot of fun. And I tell them, well, you got to be a member of the Stunthangar Forum. And then once you are approved, and only Sparky can do that, then you'll be able to see the At the Bench link, and then the link will be posted there. Matter of fact, it's posted there now with today's date, Friday, June 9th, and that's the one you want to click on. That's how you come in. You just give permission for your microphone and your camera, and you're off to the races. Matter of fact, here's the first one in here. It's iPhone 3, who was here for a second. Anyways, let me go to the control panel, and let me see here. Just give me a second here. Oh, snap. I actually, oh, good. I'm on the wrong. Switch channel. Hey, what's happening? How you doing? Joe Gilbert, so glad to see you.
We're sitting in Dayton, Ohio to say hi for a minute, and we're going to go to bed. We're tired.
Okay.
It's a long way from Tulsa to Dayton, I can assure you.
All right. Well, I appreciate you coming in. Thank you very much. Absolutely. That's great. And I hope you get a chance to do some flying and do what we say, okay, at Brodax.
I think so. I hope so. I talked to Robert about an hour ago. He's already there, camped out in his spot, man. He's ready.
That's fantastic. That's fantastic. Well, thank you for coming in. I appreciate it. So is Colleen there with you too?
Yeah, she went down to the car to get our water glass out of the car.
All right.
The water glass out. Yeah, I wouldn't go without her.
I didn't think so. I just thought, I just want to make sure she was there. See, she's doing. Hope she's doing well.
Everybody's doing A-okay.
That's great. So what planes are you going to be flying?
The Cavalier and Classic and PA, and a Profile Mustang, Pat Johnson Mustang and Profile, then the Ringmaster and Old Time, and Firecat Ringmaster, where that event is. So cool. Only brought 3. They're in the back of the car. I wrecked my Trek 2 months ago and they totaled it, so I'm truckless. So we had to take the spinners and the props and the gears off and stack them in the back seat with towels, but we got them. They're going to get there, I think.
Great. We'll
be all right.
Well, I'm glad that you're okay, even though your truck was totaled. That's the most important thing. You're okay.
Yeah, that's right. It is what it is, man.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for coming in. I appreciate it, man.
Who else here? How do I check?
Well, right now we have
there's 5.
Gary Sinclair. There's 5 of us.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, Gary good.
Sinclair. Gary was there, I think, last year. Gary, you went to Brodax last year, right, Gary?
Yeah, I got there last year.
Gary's walking around. He was a celebrity. People were recognizing him from the show.
Yeah.
He was a star walking around amongst the common folk. He was doing all right. And then we have Caffeine from Indonesia. Hey, Caffeine, how you doing?
Doing great. How you guys doing?
Good.
Doing good. Brodax is starting this week, so we're going to be losing some of our talent due that they'll be out there at Brodax having a good old time.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Yeah, so anybody out there who's thinking about coming in, this would be a great week to come in. I could definitely use your extra help by coming in. And I see that we have, I think Ed came in next. Hey, Ed, thank you for coming in.
Yeah, Charles, how you doing this evening?
Good to see you, man. Appreciate you very much. You've been doing any flying or anything lately?
No, couldn't do that. Been doing some building.
All right.
And I had a question on when we were talking about installing hinges and the flight control surfaces.
All right.
I'm pretty sure we were talking about using the canopy glue, which is I think 560 or something like that.
Yeah, matter of fact, the gentleman who talked about it is here. Bob Bob Hunt is here.
Yeah.
He is a big fan of using Formula 560. Is that right?
Yeah,
Bob?
the canopy glue for putting in hinges and even putting
Yeah.
on canopies.
Yeah.
Well, ask Bob what your question is.
Did you have to worry about it getting into the hinge area where I normally would oil it or put some Vaseline?
Well, what I do is I treat the barrel with either 3-in-1 oil or some silicone oil I have. I
Right.
you can see it wick down through the barrel, and then when I put it in, I take a syringe and I inject the stuff into the slots until I see it fill up. And I put the hinge into the movable surface first. The hinge is in there first. I don't try to hinge the whole airplane at one time. And I put them in until they're saturated. But what I do then is I pull them out. Well, I have little pockets that they go into. And I pull them out from the pocket and pull the loose flange down on all of them. And then I take the movable surface and push it up against a straight edge. And that pushes all the barrels in line with each other. And then I let that cure overnight. And then I put them onto the airplane the same way. But when I put it on the airplane, some of the glue will be forced out into the hinge line. And what you want to do is get a wet paper towel, a very wet paper towel, and you get down and you actually blow on the hinge, and it'll blow the glue out of the hinge line, and you wipe off the airplane. It's water solid, it's water cleanup. So you just keep doing that till there's no residue left at all. And then you let it sit overnight, and it works perfect every time.
Well, here it is. Pat Johnson.
Hang on, my mouse is not cooperating. Here we go. Make it big.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, and I got did some test fitting.
Yep.
And stuff. So okay.
Yeah.
I was pretty sure of that, and I thought, well, since we're having the meeting, I would ask the question again and verify.
Now, some years back when I decided to do that, because I never liked epoxy, and I certainly don't like CA for that. But when I was told to do that by someone else, and I was a little leery of it. So I made a test panel. I made a test piece, put it in, let it sit for 2 days, tried to pull it apart. And I broke the hinge at the barrel.
Wow.
In the wood, and I broke the barrel.
Yeah, I was the same way. I was always epoxy. And what a mess.
Horrible. This stuff is wonderful.
Well, once again, the benefits of listening to you guys. You know, been doing model airplanes since the age of 6, and you learn something at age 71.
You were a late bloomer.
Let me get Joe Gilbert in, because he didn't get a chance to say much on one of these shows. So how do you do the hinges yourself, Joe? And we talk about how to prepare the hinges as well. That's just as important.
Bob's got the right idea. I get a wet Q-tip too and wet it and soak it and then take a dry one and wipe it up. But whatever works, I double my barrels and get hot Vaseline and dip them in the Vaseline and turn them 90 and let it run off on a paper towel. But the glue Bob uses, epoxy's a mess. I don't like epoxy.
You got that right.
There is one caveat to the Formula 560, or any of the canopy glues you can get. You got to make sure before you use them, you stir up the good stuff out of the bottom of because otherwise you have nothing. You got to stir it up in solution completely before you inject it into the hinge slots.
Yeah, that's what's making me think. My stuff is a couple of years old, so I was considering buying some new stuff if Rodak has it next week versus waiting for it to come in.
You know, you can order it direct from FTE, Frank Tiano Enterprises as well too. They'll ship, you know.
Bob,
What about preparation of the hinge? Because some hinges come and you'll hold it out and it just doesn't even drop. How about preparation?
Yeah, I mean, well, it depends on what kind of hinge you're using. I know those Colette hinges, they're so loose, the barrels are so loose of the pin, they're always going to be floppy. But I don't like them. I like the Great Plains mediums. But you have to go through a bunch of them to find ones that are really floppy. And if you don't find floppy ones, sometimes it's just some residue from the molding process, and you can actually take a knife and slit that off and make them free them up. But generally hinging, you got to get all your hinges out and prep them, and that takes sometimes an hour or 2 hours to make sure they're perfect before you put them in. And you kind of want to clean them too with like Prep Sol or something too to get any mold release off of them.
I usually sand
Yes,
mine
important.
and get them off.
Yeah, Sam.
Yeah.
I usually
sand-
sand them off with thinner.
Okay.
Yeah. I do thinner or I do alcohol and then I do some real coarse sandpaper to try
Yeah,
to
yeah.
roughen it up.
Yep.
Oh, that's good.
Now on the Dubros, I've actually taken them apart and used a drill and just opened up that hole in the barrel just so that they're really loose and goosey. I want to hold it and I want it to fall.
I wouldn't want them so that they would actually move, though. You know,
Right.
front to back.
Right. Just want it to drop.
Yeah, yeah. So, getting good hinges. You know, if you find those great planed hinges anymore, you know, I find them in various places, and I buy as many as I can. I got hundreds of them, just because you know I want to be able to have enough to get me to the finish line, which may be next week. Who knows?
Bobby, shame on you.
Never know. We don't know, right?
Don't know.
We don't know our expiration date.
Best laid plans often come unhinged.
Oh, geez.
Couldn't resist that.
Oh, my golly.
Let me welcome Stuart. Hey, Stuart, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
Good.
What you been up to? I know that you've been enjoying flying that combat that slow combat plane to do stunts, and I think you had your tutor and your twister out as well.
Yeah, that was like a week ago, but yeah, the tutor is the one that crashed, but I pretty much got it fixed. I just got to put some covering on it, and it's ready to go again. So might go tomorrow. Don't know yet. See how
All right, cool. Well, let me welcome Stuart. I mean, Keith. Hey, Keith. I missed you for a couple shows. I was hoping you was doing okay. I meant to give you a call.
Yeah, it just had some family things going on.
So you made any progress on your big job?
A little bit. It's ready for the top coat now. Just a matter of waiting for some good weather to do that. It's all painted.
All right.
Trimmed.
All painted in the trim, everything. That's great.
Yeah.
Cool.
I'll go get it.
All right. Very good. While he's getting that caffeine, have you put in on your matter of fact, I don't think you've spoken to Bob or Joe Gilbert about the RPM on your Enya 35 and how it's kind of inconsistent. You fly the plane, you have a beautiful motor run, right? Then you land the plane, take off again, and it changes, right?
Yeah, but I remember that I told you I was going to put back that stock tube muffler, and
Right.
I did. I did that, and I tested on the ground in my garage. I haven't got any chance to fly it, but after I did that, after changing to the tube muffler, it was all good. It dropped the RPM really nicely. Hopefully it will slow down my lap times to my liking. I mean, it was too powerful before. I always got like above 11,000 on the perfect needle position, but it's now the RPM is around 10,300, so it's supposed to be good for flying.
You said something interesting. You said it was too powerful before. There's only one correct amount of horsepower.
Yes.
Way too much. Horsepower does not mean speed.
Yeah.
Horsepower does not necessarily
Yep.
mean speed. Horsepower means power.
Yep.
And you can adjust power by gearing.
Mhm.
What kind of prop are you using?
10.5, 4.5.
What pitch?
4.5.
Oh, 4.5.
Four,
Okay.
4.5.
10.5, 4.5. What size motor?
Yeah. So it's Enya 35X. It's the same like the 40XZ.
You could probably go to a larger diameter prop on that, don't you think, Joe?
I would think that's probably a high strung motor. If he choked it down the rear end and made it calm, That speaks
Mhm.
too big a Venturi to me right off the bat.
You got to remember too that a lot of these engines are developed for radio control flying, and they run basically in a 2-cycle. They're not designed to 2-4. The blowdown period, and this goes, this is taking me back now to when I used to fly Globe pre-2006. Some engines need to have the ports, the boost port raised, eyelash they call it, so that when the pressure comes down, it stops charging sooner and doesn't make the engine do a thermal runaway. They go into a 2-cycle and they just run away. So it kind of depends on the timing of the motor. Not all engines can be made to run 2-4 without some machine,
Yeah, I still have to test fly it before make other decision, because on the ground it sounds nice wet 2-cycle, but we have to test it by flying it.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yep. Because normally with the tongue muffler, I used to get like 11,500, 12,000. So I guess it's just too much RPM. So I was thinking to like lower it down to 11 around 10,500 until up to 11,000.
How are you lowering it down? You just opening the needle?
No, I put the stock muffler. I used to have a tongue muffler, but now I'm using a more restrictive tube muffler from the Enya, and I also put some exhaust deflector.
He just choked down the back end of it, is all he did. What can't get out, can't get in. That'll work, just to try it.
Yeah.
But that's interesting what Joe Gilbert said. You might want to consider making your Venturi a little bit smaller.
Yeah. I've got some pantyhose with me, but yeah, I will test with the current setup first. If
Yes. Sure.
All right. Great.
One question I have in mind: does the angle of the exhaust deflector matter? I mean, if it's pointing like sideways or straight down, is it going to make any difference?
If what's sideways or straight down?
The
Like-
deflector, he has a little
The
a little silicone thing that's on the end of their muffler. It's kind of pointed.
Oh, I don't think that makes any difference.
okay, I see.
Now my deflectors, I trim them off. I make them pretty short. I just get the angle, and then I cut the remnant off so that all I have is just the angle. I don't want that because it puts too much of a it bogs down the motor. It deprives me of power, and so I trim mine pretty short. Once it makes that angle, I cut it the angle, and it's about that much beyond the bend. I cut that 2 inches off at least.
Okay, I see. Yeah,
It's a trial and error for a while.
Yeah.
because that's
You be trial and error. You have to just try things and figure it out.
yeah.
Trial
Yeah.
and error.
Yeah, the only problem he has that he's in Indonesia. He only has you have one flying buddy, is that right?
Yes. And
There's a way around that, Kaveen. There's a way around that. Move to Stockertown and I'll help you.
That's a pretty good offer right there.
Yeah, if you can
Of course,
get
you're gonna have to learn. You're gonna have to stop learning how to pump fuel into a tank and learn how to push a button. So then we'll have you flying consistently all the time.
he is thinking about electrics. He's
That's it.
considering it.
It's not. It'd make it a lot more consistent.
yeah. That's I heard that a lot. So yeah, in the future I will have at least one of my planes converted into electric.
Well,
Definitely.
let me let Keith show his plane. He went and got it for me. So let me
Oh, it's just like the other one. Cool.
How many big jobs and chiselers have you had?
Well, this is big job number 3. And basically same paint scheme as before, a little bit more lettering on
looks nice.
it.
That's beautiful.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Red and yellow stripes, different. And I think that has a little bit to it.
Yep.
That's nice.
And cowls in the other room, landing gears in the other room.
Tony and Addie are smiling someplace right now.
Absolutely.
You see that? I did have on there a big job by TNA,
Mhm.
and I think A&T makes it a little bit better.
I
Yeah.
think so.
A little more family friendly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that until somebody looked at that and gave me a big smirk.
One in every crowd.
Yeah, so and I put a little bit of this thing on there.
All right. Now see, you got Pampa too. Big
Yeah.
bold letters.
Anyway, going to be putting clear coat on the next day or two and pulled everything together and it's done.
There you go. You taking that to the Nats?
Yes. If I can get a flight in and it survives the flight, I think I've lost 2 airplanes in the last 10 flights. So I'm
Oh, Keith.
Well, you won't be over practice.
that's for sure.
Thank you, Keith, for showing your plane. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
And let me see here. Now I'm losing order. I think Mark Wise, you came in next, and if I might be out of order, but welcome. Thank you for coming in, Mark. What's been happening with you?
I hope to sleep soon. Actually, I'm leaving around 6 a.m. and going up to Carmichael's, PA for a week at Brodak's backyard.
Wow.
And I know there are some people right on here I'll see. I think I'll see Joe Gilbert,
Yeah.
Bob Hunt, Ed Waskey. I think that's it. But it's a good week. And maybe 3 weeks after that is Muncie. So maybe I'll stop having nightmares then. But
Blood pressure ought to go down a little bit.
oh, it finally got under 200, so I'm happy.
Oh my goodness.
And I see right below me 2 levels is one of the nicest, generous guys I haven't met yet, but I'm going to meet him in Muncie, and that's Jim Vornhold.
All right.
It's good to see you, Jim.
Good to see you tomorrow. Can you hear me all right?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay.
So how you feeling, Jim?
Okay, I'm having surgery on Friday. So whether I'll be at the banquet or at the Nats or not is kind of up in the air. It depends on how well I heal. You know, it's one of those things. But they've got me scheduled to be there Friday morning at 5:30 to start us. So, but you know, I'm hoping for a fast recovery, and if so, I'll definitely want to make it to the banquet.
Is this
That'd
that
be
new
great.
doctor you were telling me about that has a different way of doing that surgery?
Yes. This is the doctor that studied in Russia how to do this different procedure.
Coming from the side.
Yeah, they come in from the side with a high-speed tool and cut out that bone. And I don't know what, I don't know. He said he might have to break my foot because it's collapsed. And if he has to break it, then I definitely won't be at the Nationals.
Well, yeah, we can save you some money, Jim. We all have Dremel tools, you know.
Yeah.
And saws.
Yeah, that's a good idea, Bob. I like that.
That's what Billy would say. We can fix that with a drum tool, you know?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
my goodness.
and some epoxy.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, so we'll, we'll see how it goes. And,
I hope you can make it, man.
oh, thank you. Thank
If
you.
you need a place to stay, you can bunk in with Joel and I in his trailer. He said if you want to come up, you're welcome to stay, you know.
Oh, okay, well, I might have to keep that in mind then. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, hey, don't thank me, thank Joel. He said if you get there and you need a place, you got it.
Okay.
Great. I think next in was Carl Reed. Hey, Carl, how you doing? We was flying today, Carl.
I'm doing good, thank you. How about you? Do what?
I was just telling everybody that it was you, Carl, Stuart Mossman, and myself flying today at Kit Carson
Yeah,
Park in Escondido.
yeah. Yeah, it was a beautiful day. Everything went well for the most part. I had a few hiccups, but that happens every now and then.
Your audio is kind of choppy, unfortunately, Carl. I'm sorry.
The what was? Oh, my voice?
Audio. Yeah, your audio.
Okay.
Sound. But anyway,
Sometimes
let's
it
welcome-
works good. Yeah, thank you.
All righty. And let me see here. Then Bob Whitley came in. Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Oh, doing okay. It's been mostly a bit much better week than last couple of weeks have been. But, got a little story, a couple of them actually today. Every Friday morning, I get together with a bunch of the old guys from the 70s and some people I've met recently, and we have breakfast. And they're all with the RC club now, but or a couple of the clubs. But anyway, my wife was going out of town over to Saskatchewan for a trade show thing this weekend. So she was just going to take her pickup truck and leave it at the town south of Edmonton and go with a friend. And at the last minute, I decided, no, I wanted my pickup truck around so it's easier to haul Model in than the little Toyota. And so she took her car and I took my truck, and I went to the car wash and pulled out of there and went to use my wipers, and they were kind of smearing. So I went to put it in park and clean them, and it felt kind of funny going into park. Well, okay, I cleaned them and I hopped back in and went to put it into gear, and all I had was a floppy gear shift lever.
Oh.
And which is, not a good thing when you want to drive. So I figured it had to be one of two things: disconnected under the column, worst case scenario, or just came off of the transmission lever. Well, that's what it was. They got sort of a cable with a Heim joint end on it. Anyway, that's what it was. So the little plastic retainer clip or whatever they had on it was disintegrated. So I shoved it back on, managed to get it into gear, left it in gear all the way to breakfast, and then went to leave there, and it just kept popping off. So it was model airplane supplies to the rescue. I'm in a parking lot trying to get it into gear to get to a dealer to get a part. And I was thinking, oh, I don't have my usual toolkits with me and all that, but I did have my field box. And in my field box was the spool that I have for the cord for my backup to my radio control stooge release.
All right.
So I cut a few inches, about a foot off that, and crawled underneath and popped it on and tied a few knots around it and got it holding on. And that worked just fine. So I drove it to the dealer and I thought, well, hopefully it'll be just the retainer clip that's missing. No, GM in their infinite wisdom, of course, has it integral to the end of the cable, and it's a non-replaceable item.
Oh.
So I got to buy an entire cable assembly that I'll have the joy of putting in. So in the interim, I went to our equivalent of Harbor Freight and I bought a package of E-clips. I'm going to pop one of those on for a few days till it's cooler here. It's plus 31 degrees here today, which is into the 90s.
Oh, wow.
So it's smoking.
I got a bone to pick with you. I got a bone to pick with you.
I think we all do.
Yeah. You're from Canada, right?
Well, last I checked, yeah.
Yeah.
Stop smoking.
You can have all the smoke that's been around my house for the last 4 days. It's like 10 mile visibility.
Well, we're sending that down to you duty free, Bob.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Can't
There you
tell you
go.
to give me anything.
We're sending airplanes to you to put it out.
Oh my gosh, it's been terrible.
Well, that's just a trade back and forth. We send them down to California every year too. But yeah, I was getting teased about going down to that fun fly last weekend, and wasn't able to go because our cat had to be put down on my dad's service and all that. But I was being teased that I was going to bring back a bunch of airplanes. Well, I didn't, because I didn't go. But I did go down a couple of days later to teach flying just south of there, and I succumbed to temptation. So if you want to make it big,
All right.
I got 2 of these MDS 25s in mint condition.
Oh, wow.
With prop, spinner nut, glow plug, everything. $5 each.
Wow.
Sounds like a lot of tip rate.
The prop and nuts are worth more than that. So what the heck? Couldn't pass it up. So, I needed more engines, of course, because I've only got probably 70 of them now. But I'll probably give them away to someone. But and while we were at breakfast, some of the guys there, the RC club members, one of the fellows had never seen a control line model. And we were discussing, he thought, you twist the lines and the controls would be backwards or something. So I just happened to have a flight streak in my truck. So I brought it in, hooked a handle on, and we showed him it. And then he was wondering about the wire hanging out the back. And he said, that's for my radio control stooge. So I told him about how I've got a remote for that. And so they started bugging me about how I've got a control line airplane, but I've got a radio control release for it. So it was kind of humorous for them for a moment.
Just tell them that release is AI.
Yeah. So they're having a fun fly out at our new radio control field this weekend. And I don't know how well it's going to go, because right now the winds are about 19 knots and they're supposed to be gusting to 25 knots over the weekend. So on the plus side, I was out the other night and talked to the president. We had a meeting out there. He said, what about flying control line out here? And he says, no problem at all. And they've been, the drought we've had, they've been bringing out tanker trucks full of water and spraying down the field to keep the grass alive, and especially for the event. So he went out and sprayed down a whole area separate to the main runway just for Paul and I to fly control line models on.
Wow.
I thought that was pretty decent of them.
Yeah.
Very good.
So we might get some converts. And also with all the problems you guys have been hearing, Len and I grump about Mac here and their silliness. One of the fields in southern Alberta, well, near Calgary, has been continuing to have nothing but headaches, and they haven't got a site approval for their radio control. So they've decided to heck with it. They're going to dump RC and go back to control line and convert the field to control line.
All right.
You might get something more than converts. You might get some immigrants.
Yeah. So it's I figure maybe that's the silver lining of their moronic attitude towards model flying here, is control line might benefit in the end.
How about it?
Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
Rob, Bob Hunt and I have been designing an airplane, control line plane that would drop fire, retardant chemicals. Of course, it's control line, so we can't get real close.
Yeah.
If you would like that, Bob and I will get it up to you.
But you'll have a circular area that won't burn.
That's right.
Yeah, that sounds great. As long as, that'll keep our flying field safe, and to heck with everything around.
Yeah.
That's it.
We'll bust the regulations and, put I got a Sato 125 I'm not using. If we built it around that and I put it on like 21 thou 100-foot lines, that'd give a nice safe area around the flying site.
There you go.
Let me interrupt for a second. Let me say goodbye to my friend Joe Gilbert. Hey, Joe, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
No worries.
Thank
You
you,
got to go to bed, and you got a big week ahead of you.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Take
Thank
care,
you for
y'all.
coming in. Take care.
Bye.
Yeah, so, in summary, I'm really glad at the last minute I had the impulse to keep the truck for myself and not send my wife off with it, or it would have been a real ugly scenario this morning having to go to the rescue.
Yeah.
But that's a case of model airplane stuff and
Absolutely.
making do to the rescue.
Can I ask Mark a question?
Uh-oh.
You know what's coming.
Go ahead.
You want to make the announcement tonight or not?
Oh. Yeah, it's too bad Joe got off. Yeah, why not? I think Keith and Jim and some others would be very interested. Behind the scenes, there's been a lot going on regarding 2024 Control Line World Championships. And basically, FAI was having trouble finding a host country. So one thing led to another, and today, AMA sent in a bid and offer to host the 2024 World Championships in Muncie.
Wow, that's fantastic.
Wow.
And personally, I'm very excited about that.
Yeah.
It'll move the Nats a little later on in the year. It'll be the first week of August instead of the first week of July. But there are a lot of world-class flyers that want to come to Muncie because it's the best site in the world. And I think it'd be very cool to have them there, whether you're a spectator, whether you want to go to the team trials and compete, whether you want to volunteer and help us. I know Bob and I spoke to Paul Walker today, are very excited about it. And Paul already offered help in terms of event director with David Fitzgerald. You can't get too much better than that.
Yeah, it's great.
So it'll be, we're just waiting for the formal approvals, but AMA has approved it.
Yeah.
They will formally vote on it again in late July, because that's when they'll be together. And so there's a lot going on, and I've been involved with this maybe 4 months. And the control line SIGs, I think there are 4 or 5 of us. We're excited and to have some of the best flyers in the world come visit.
It was before best.
4, okay. So we're excited. There's going to be a lot of work to do, which is not unusual. And I'll put in my effort. So if you have some money to save and you can get to Muncie, 1 week you can see the NACS, and a couple of days later you can see the World Championships. It doesn't get too much better than that.
I might have to save up to go to Houston or wherever the team selection is this year. I might.
Yeah.
I want to know that.
Yeah.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
It's funny that you made this announcement, because I and another pilot who's been to the World Championship, he was discussing, saying how he wished that they would can't wait for it to come back to the States, and we're hoping that it will someday. And here you are making this announcement. It just seems that's kind of weird to me, but that's good.
It's meant to be.
Yeah.
It's interesting to note that the first time we had it here was in 1984. I was the assistant manager on that team. And then the next time we had it here was in 2004, 20 years later. And now it's 2024, 20 years later, 2020.
Wow.
That's coincidental, I'm sure, but interesting.
Yeah. Dennis, did you hear that?
Bits and pieces, but are you saying you're looking at hosting a Worlds next year?
Yes, AMA has sent an offer into FAI.
Wow, I guess I thought that had already been chosen. Did the chosen site have to back out or something?
Italy.
Yeah, Italy could not find a suitable site.
That's too bad.
Oh, maybe this is.
Well, I don't know. I think it's pretty good.
Well, it's too bad for Italy, I guess, but
yeah. Yeah.
Good for us.
Good for us. Yeah.
I know David was trying to spearhead an effort to get a Worlds here a couple of years ago, and lost some traction somewhere along the way. But over trying to run it our way or run it their way, and of course there is no such thing as running it our way. So.
Not in the Worlds, and it's unfortunate. But sometimes you just don't like the rules, and the way you do it is probably better, but we don't control the event.
Mm-hmm.
So the last time that the World Championship was in Muncie, Indiana was what, 2002? Is that when the last one was?
2004.
2000.
Billy Werwich won that. So
Boy, what a
I
party
think,
what a party that was that night. Oh my God.
oh yeah, you were there.
Was I there?
Yeah.
What a party. The morning after, he tried to make a set of lines. It took him 4 hours.
I think your grandkids woke up with a hangover.
So there you go. Thank you, Bob.
Yeah, man.
Well, that's definitely incentive to save towards.
It is. I've been thinking about getting back to the Nats, so that'd be great.
The only thing better would be if we had our 50th and 100th celebrations next year instead of this year to tie it all together.
Yeah.
So Bob Whiteley, there's no chance that Mac will come through with an offer for that or anything like that?
At who?
You've heard about a place down under freezing over?
Okay, way down under. Okay, yeah, I got you.
I do want to add one other thing that I got a call from Tony Stillman yesterday, who's in charge of competition at AMA, and he's basically the overall event manager for the Nats. And it's nice because he asked me what I thought about an idea and how do I feel about it and all that. Basically what's happening, and I'm very, very happy about this, that the AMA Foundation thought it would be a good idea to invite people to basically the equivalent of the opening day of the Nats, just anyone who wanted to come. And what they're doing, they're going to erect a large screen and show a free movie. And it'll be on the L-pad. And it'll be the day before the Nats starts. It'll be Saturday night. And anyone who's flying there practicing for Sunday, we think that would just be awesome. So these people could see what control line stunt looks like.
Up close and personal. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I think that's absolutely in the right direction of trying to get more people to be aware of what we do, that it hasn't died and gone away. It's out there, and we just need more folks doing it. So I was real pleased, and I said I had no problem at all with it.
Yeah.
Does that mean that the site's going to be closed Saturday and probably Sunday for practice then?
Nope. They're going to start the movie at 9:30 Saturday night, and they'll have the screen off before Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
I have a comment from Sparky in the chat box. He says, got some bad news. There is no internet service at Brodax. And he said, I'm going to try to see if I can get a local hotspot tomorrow.
Well, the Carmichael's area had discovered wireless communication several years ago, so I'm sure that there's going to be a workaround in there somewhere. But
yeah, I think so too.
Maybe it's at the wrong hotel, or sometimes hotels get they stutter and bump and all that kind of stuff. But
yeah.
Well, I'm sure Sparky is going to figure it out. He's had to overcome some other challenges lately.
Yeah, he has.
He'll
figure it out.
So, but before that, that was Gary Sinclair. He provided us a like. Thank you, Gary. Gary's a member of our YouTube channel. I can tell by the moniker next to his name. And he's also the monitor of the chat box. So be careful, tread lightly, or Gary will knock you out. And then we have Marcel Legrand. He says, hi, Charles and everyone. The weather here is fine in New Zealand. So looking at going for a fly. Good for you. That's great. I know that Jonathan Carradas was talking about all these systems coming in, and so I'm glad to hear you having a little reprieve and have some good flying weather. And then Dennis Adamison, who's also a member of our YouTube channel, he also gave us a like. Thank you very much. And we're all caught up. Let me welcome John Miller in the house. Thank you, John, for coming in. Appreciate it. And what you been up to, John?
Well, I went up to Salt Lake City today. It was my grandson's 18th birthday. Wow. And his graduation from high school. So it was a busy day. Ate too much chicken. It was a fun time had by all.
Oh, that's good. That's good. I know you're very proud of your grandson too. And
he's a good kid.
I bet. Not surprised. And then what are you holding there, Dennis? I see a big trophy there.
Oh, well, that's it. I was just going to ask, does this trophy make me look fat?
Make you big. What was the trophy for?
This is the Brodak Spirit of the Sport trophy. I was fortunate enough to be awarded it last year.
Wow,
Which
congratulations.
means I got to bring it back this year. And I don't know, we become fondly attached and everything like that. So I'm having some final bonding moments here before I put it in the box.
Yes, absolutely. Well, that's
Actually
fantastic.
worse than that. I was going to clean it up and polish it up. And, you know, whoever had it before, they left some silver polish in it. So I opened it up and the silver polish had turned into a silver brick. So I'm going to have to run off to get some more silver polish. I'll probably polish it up when we get there. But
how many pints of beer does that hold?
I'm trying to compare it head to head with the Stanley Cup. Okay. And I could almost give a bath to my my grandson in it. But,
yeah, many years ago, I actually drank out of the Grey Cup, which is our national football.
Oh,
cup.
sure. That's great. That's great. Anyhow, just one of the cool things at Brodak. That's all. Of course,
Yeah, well,
I'm
congratulations.
excited
That's
about
awesome.
getting over there. So
That is awesome.
I was just looking at Keith here. Is that deja vu all over again?
Yeah, it is deja vu. Let me make
Yeah.
it big so you can see it a little better.
Yeah, I don't know. Is that I think he runs those out of a Xerox machine or something like that. But
Don't look the same.
that's it.
It is pretty. Just ready for a top coat, he said.
Yeah, it
You have a
looks
different
great.
number on the tail, Keith?
Yeah, somewhere says there,
Big job.
Mark III.
Mark III. All right.
All right.
Sure looks good.
Did the other ones have the red and yellow stripes next to the number on the fuselage?
No, it's just a
Okay.
red stripe, and I like the yellow better.
Okay. Okay. So it is different.
And the paint scheme, kind of screwed up. This dark blue is supposed to be more of a medium blue, and the dark blue is supposed to be the stripe around here. It's sort of, I messed up on color selection, but this is starting to grow on me. It'll be okay.
There's an
Yeah,
old
I don't know.
example.
I think the rest of us will forgive you for that. But
There's an old saying in Stud, Keith, never confess.
that's it. I meant to do that. Yeah.
Well, yeah.
It looks
I've
great.
made a lot of mistakes putting this one together and had to do things over and probably getting old and not thinking things through.
Terrific. The
We
weight
had
still
an
on
old saying
target?
in the military. Sorry. We had an old saying in the military. It's far easier to beg forgiveness than to ask permission.
Mhm. Applies in a lot of places. You still on your target for weight? You were looking pretty good early
Yeah, I
on.
think so. Airframe right here is 20, just less than 24 ounces. By the time you start putting the landing gear and the elevators and the cow, it's starting to approach 28 ounces. I don't know. We'll have to see after the final coat's on.
How much wing area does that thing have?
580, something like that.
Oh gosh, you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm at Brodak's at the field. There's no internet access. I'm on my cell phone now. And I'm going to try to go to Walmart or something tomorrow to see if I can get a local hotspot. Otherwise, you have to do a video and you'll have to wait until I can get to the hotel or something to upload. Even Brodak service, you know, I try to tap into their local stuff here and no internet.
Well, Sparky, this gives you the opportunity not to work and have some fun.
Yeah.
I got to do a movie or something. I got to document all this stuff.
And I appreciate you doing that. I see here you said that you was at the field and there's no smoke at Brodax also. That's good.
Yeah, there is no smoke here.
Wow.
Bob was worried about smoke, but I didn't.
We
see
sent it
anything.
to New York.
There you go.
Everything on the East Coast smells like smoke.
Yeah.
It
Yeah,
looks
I
like
tried.
Gordon Delaney came in. Hey, Gordon, thanks for coming in. Appreciate it.
Hi, Gordy.
Hey, you know something? It dawned on me that I've often wondered about this, and it reminded me of something. What we have here is, with these blocks of people in them, is a lot like Hollywood Squares. Remember that show?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh
yeah.
yeah.
We ought to do a Hollywood Squares one night.
Yeah, I thought that often.
Right now on my screen, Jim Warnholt is Paul Lynn.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Who's Ruth
That's it.
Buzzy?
What's that?
Who is Ruth Buzzy?
Ruth Buzzy.
Blue Fuzzy.
I don't remember Fuzzy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she was on. They
Oh,
tried
yeah.
it through a lot of people on
Oh.
that thing. So
Started on laughing.
That was
Yeah,
a
so
funny, that was a
laughing.
fun show.
So Bob and Dennis, I've got some news for you.
oh.
I am in the process of starting succumbing to the dark side.
Uh-oh.
I've got the last Brodak RF electric P40 on order, and I've got a RSM power package for it.
See, we don't call it the dark side. We call it the electric light side.
Yeah, ELO,
So
right?
sometime this summer, I suppose they'll arrive, and they don't expect to be shipping anything from Brodex till after the event, though. But they only had 2 of the electric P40s left, and John ordered both of them, so I've got dibs on one.
Very good.
It
Gonna
is
be
great.
any? They're not gonna make them anymore.
Nope.
No, they quit making ARFs close to a year ago.
Well, it's actually longer
ARFs
than
and
that, but
ARCs.
yeah, they used to order them in batches like 500 at a time, and they would try to. The shipping was so unforgiving and everything like that. They tried to order a bunch to fill their own shipping container, and that also meant that they were tying up a boatload of money, literally a boatload of money on that in inventory stock and everything like that. Thankfully, the last couple of batches, they didn't hang around too long, but they've still got things like super clowns from the first batch that they ordered. Their first batch of RFs they got like 20 years ago. They still got some of those on hand. That's a long time to be sitting on that investment. So they're just reluctant to make the big investment that it takes, to buy those things in a batch.
How many super clowns can you get into a Volkswagen?
I don't know, but if to paraphrase one of your stories, Bob, I left my super clown in the back seat of the car, and I come back and there was 2 of them sitting there.
More or less, yeah.
Yeah.
Got a
So,
Vec
A banjo
$250,
story.
and he said they're going up to $300 now. $300 for an ARP.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, a couple of years ago now, when I bought my SV11s, I bought 2 of them, and after exchange and shipping and all that stuff, it came to 320 Canadian. So that'd be, call it 230 US or something, as to be roughly what I was paying for them then.
mhm.
I don't know what this P40 is going to come in. I expect around $300 by the time I get it.
You know, I never flew one of those SV11 ARS until my friend Tom Huff got 2 of them, and he and his brother put them together real accurately. I know they're electric, and we went out to fly them, and I got the chore of test flying them and trimming them. Well, I got to tell you, there wasn't much trimming to do. That was the best flying SV11s I've ever flown, and that was quite a concession for me because I never really had a very high opinion of ARS, but they fly pretty good. They're aligned properly.
The company that John contracted for the last batches of ARFs, the SVs and vectors and stuff, they were unrecognizable from the first batch of ARFs. They were extremely accurate. Woodworking was wonderfully done. And it was really nice. The people who got the ARC version were really treated to how they, what a nice job of woodworking they did. I'm convinced that they actually, on the open bay wing cap strips, I'm convinced that they assembled the sheeting with the cap strips off of the wing and then put it on in one piece and wrapped it and leading edge and everything else. They did a really, really good job with it. So
the only thing we did was we changed the control systems. The control systems are terrible. Just terrible.
Yeah, on mine, compared to my smoothie, the smoothie had a horrible oh, sorry, Sparky.
What?
Go ahead, Sparky.
Motor mounts aren't too good either. Steve Smith's motor mount just jerked right out of his vector.
Mm-hmm.
I put one of them motor mounts in that Bob sells, the black flat ones, whatever they are.
Yeah. G10 mounts.
Yeah, those are certainly stronger than any kind of plywood. So.
If anybody needs them, we're going to Brodax. I'll have the last of them at Brodax, and along with a whole bunch of plans and some wood and some other things. I'm kind of divesting a lot of things. So.
Yeah, it's damned ironic that I learned later on that the company who was building them could have built them with phenolic motor mounts. We didn't know their capability until later on, but they could have done that if we had just specified it. So.
Yeah.
That's why I really wish that there was a way that they could get a few more of them. I wondered, like say they used to buy them, shipping container at a time, but I'm just wondering if there's any way they could get smaller, quantities or something like that, and maybe spread them out and not buy them all in one big lump and stuff. And yeah, they'd pay more for shipping that way, but it would be availability versus not ever having them again. That's all.
Well, I think they're still making lots of RC ARFs. Maybe they could tie on to.
Well, I'm not sure that they are anymore either. I mean, I go to my RC field and it's getting to be rare to find a wooden airplane out there. They're all foam. They're all injection molded foam. So.
Yeah. And like you were saying, Bob, about the control systems, the ones in mine were really good. But my smoothie was garbage. In fact, when I was putting together, that was on Stunthangar Hangout one night, and I found 2 frayed strands on my lead-out cables. So on Stunthangar here, I gutted that right out and replaced it with a suspended bell crank and my bell cranks and stuff. But the smoothie, it was those were very poor. The covering and everything was crap.
Yeah, that was the first generations. Yeah.
But my 2 SV11s. There really isn't anything wrong with the basic control system. I kept the bell crank and the lead outs and everything, but I did change and the horns, but I changed the push rods and went to my RC car ball links and all that on it. But there was really nothing overly wrong with the system as it was.
By the way, thanks for sending me that link to those ball links. I appreciate that.
Did you get a hold of some?
I have not ordered them yet, but I'm going to.
Yeah, there's no way I'll use anything else.
There's a bunch more from some other places too that I found that are pretty good. So I'm probably going to get a bunch of them and see which one's the best.
If you come across any with left-hand threads, let us know, because I'd like to go to more on an adjustable push rod easier.
Yeah.
But it was kind of funny when I ordered them into the hobby shop here. The guy said, "Boy, these are expensive."
All right, Sparky.
Thanks, Sparky.
See you, Sparky.
Hey, Sparky, did my big friend make it there safe?
Back there. See it? Let me see here.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Back there on the bottom there.
Oh, very cool.
See it?
Make that big for a minute there.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm making big. I'm sorry. Hang on, Sparky. All right. Now everybody can see it.
Can you see it there?
Yeah. What is it?
That's that big twin that I sold to Jerry Haupt some years back, and unfortunately, when he passed away, he never got a chance to finish it, and I got it back. Hence the reason I'm coming to Brodak. But I'm
Very
also
cool.
I'm going to judge expert too.
Very good.
Excellent.
Well, I'm glad you made it there safely, Spark. I know you had a 10-hour drive, right?
Oh yeah, it was a long drive.
You look a little wasted, dude.
Yeah, I'm getting ready to go to bed.
All right, man. Hey, good night. I'll
Good night, Sparky.
seeing the videos.
Well, I don't know whether we're gonna have them or not. I hope we do.
I know you'll figure something out.
Well, even if it's at the end of the day, I think people will still be waiting to see him, looking forward to seeing him. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, we'll catch you later.
Catch you
Have fun.
later.
take care.
Yeah.
How do you get out of this?
Just go down to the bottom right, hit end. Well, I don't know if you're on the phone or not, but
Yeah, I'm on my phone. There's no end on it here.
Is there a leave at the bottom? At oops,
There he goes.
he lost his voice. So
yeah. So Gordon,
Yeah, Bob.
Gordon, you been doing any building? I know that I know you've been taking 2 steps forward and then 4 steps back, and it's been frustrating.
Well, I've been working on replacing my Pathfinder profile that Jim lost up there at the Northwest. I got a new set of ribs I made and cut out the spars. I got the molded leading edge is drying. And when that one comes out, I'll put the second one in and mold it. It's already be put on the mold. So I'll take the one off there in the morning and then get the new one put back on. I'll have my leading edge molding done.
So did you stack some balsa wood and then cut out the ribs at one time? Is that how you did it? Or
I got a huge stack, and you got to make sure you don't force the blade or it won't cut straight. See, just kind of take your time and let the blade do its job, and you hit it with a couple flicks with the sandpaper, and they're beautiful. So I cut the notches for the spars and leading edge in today on those. I cut made some spars out of some firm balsa wood. It was so hard I couldn't get, I had to splice them. I couldn't cut the splice. It was so hard.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna have to go to a little bit lighter spars.
or stronger pins and stronger thumb.
My fingers don't work that good anymore, Bob.
What's left of them?
I've been flying my new twin a lot there, Gordon, and I'm totally in love with it.
So which one's that? Your latest one?
I've been flying the Wildfire. The new one, the Turning Point's going to be flown probably early next week. It's all ready to go. All up, everything, honest weight, battery, everything, spinners, landing gear, ready to roll is 63 ounces.
wow.
Yeah, that's about 12 ounces lighter than the one I flew in 2015, which was quite a bit smaller and flew great. And this one is bigger and lighter and flies even greater.
What props are you going to run on it?
I'm running those badass match sets, lefts and rights of the 10.5s.
10.5s?
Yeah, they work great. And they're light. They're only like 8.5, 9 grams. So they accelerate well and decelerate well with the Fiorati system.
Yeah, that's got to be plenty of prop area.
20 inches of disc span.
Yeah.
And none of it is putting spiral airflow around the fuselage.
Yeah.
So
Used to come in that light. Did you steal some of Billy's helium wood?
yeah. Can I tell a story about helium?
Sure.
Yeah,
you bet.
Yeah, please do.
It's completely tangent to what we're talking about. When you said helium, this is one of the funniest stunt stories I have. In 1989, I was a judge at the Nationals out of Pasco, Washington. I flew out judging, and I didn't fly that year. So while the contestants were in the meeting, the pilots meeting, they were doing the appearance point judging in an adjacent room. And I was in there as, boy reporter for Flying Models at the time. I was in there taking pictures of all the airplanes. and they were also doing radio control pattern registration at the other end of the room. So one of the pattern flyers came up and he's looking at all these airplanes. He says, you're Bob, right? I said, yeah. He said, you fly these things, don't you? I said, well, yeah, not this year, but yeah, I do. He said, these things are amazing. They're beautiful. I said, yeah, they truly are amazing. He said, but they're light too, aren't they? I said, well, yeah, because we have a constricted amount of airspace we have to fly in, yada, yada, yada. And he says, well, if you accidentally build it too heavy, can't you like put some helium in the wings? And then the little devil on my shoulder said, I went, well, actually, if you watch the appearance point judging, they'll get down there and they'll suck on the lead out guide. And if they come up and say, we know there was helium in the wing. The guy looked at me for about 15 seconds, just shook his head, turned around and walked away.
That's good.
Boy, you had him and you had him and you lost him right at the last minute there.
Oh, my.
That is great.
Didn't ask you any more questions, did he?
No, I've never talked to me again, as far as I know.
I have a comment from Timothy DeBoard. Timothy, I'm a little bit confused. What is the good news? And tell me about the. I guess you have a Top Flight Nobler ARF. So let's clarify that for me. Anyways, I'm back.
And we're glad you are.
Yeah, Bob, like I was saying earlier about those ball ends, the guy at the hobby shop thought that the package of them seemed kind of pricey because it was 30 Canadian for 10 of them, which I thought was pretty decent. And I looked at him and just laughed and said, I spent how many hours building an airplane and how much money, and I'm going to quibble about a $2
Exactly.
Ball end?
Exactly. And besides, there's only one hobby, spending money.
Exactly. I quoted you on that yesterday.
Yeah.
Actually, the credit for that goes to Dean Pappas. That's one of Dean's.
Bob, I've got some of those rotor links. Have you ever heard of those?
The what?
A rotor link. It looks
Rotor
like a
link.
ball joint.
You have one there you can show us?
Yeah, I can get you one. I'll be right back.
All right, thank you, Gordon.
Yeah, links are the big thing now. We got to find the right link and change over. Boy, I'll tell you, the ones we've been getting are garbage.
Oh yeah, half of them in the package, you may as well throw them out.
It's true. Now you can go in and pop the wall out, and you can go in and skive some of the flange off of it, but you know that scares me when you have to start doing that. Then they get too loose, and they could, no.
And then you look at what's your time worth compared to buying a good one in the first place.
Exactly.
Now you said that you was able to screw on a 440 thread with no problem with the that metric thread. Is that right, Bob?
I think
no,
I use a 3 millimeter.
I use a 3 millimeter, and so for the rod ends, I've just been buying 50 millimeter long Allen bolts, cutting the head off them, and cleaning the black off the shanks, and assembling them in carbon fiber, the same as anything else, and then I use an aluminum sleeve over the carbon fiber, so it doesn't split out.
And you put like a 3 millimeter nut on, and then JB welded, so you have something to do the turnbuckle.
Actually, what I've been doing to lock them into the push rod, and it seems to work, is I take a really fine copper wire and I twist it around it in a spiral like a screw, and then solder that onto the shank.
Yeah.
And then I use JB weld and literally kind of thread it into the carbon fiber tube.
Yeah, that's not what I meant. I meant for the aft end, where you want to be able to get it with a wrench and adjust, the turnbuckle, adjust the length of the push rod. Do you then put a nut onto the 3 millimeter stud?
Yes, to lock it, absolutely.
And then you can turn the nut.
Yeah, I've always done that. Well, not that I'm super experienced, but harkening back to the old days of the quick link and the stunt planes being destroyed because of those failing.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It turned out to be the actual shank of it, not the clevis that was failing, and they found the jam nut was essential on them. So just as a matter of course, on any quick link, I've always used the jam nut on it.
Yeah, but what I'm talking about is using the nut and locking it in position with JB Weld or something so that you can get a wrench in there and turn it so you can turn the push rod to adjust the length of the push rod.
Yeah, that could work. But the downside is on these ones, I've only been able to get them in so far in right-hand threads.
Oh, you mean
so that's not
into
going to
the link
change
itself, into the link itself.
Yeah, the link itself. Yeah, it's
Gotcha.
yeah, that works.
Yeah. All right.
But
Well,
the
I'll
ideal is
start
if we can get a left-hand thread and we can use the whole thing as a turnbuckle.
I'll start searching because there's a pattern site. I don't have I forgot the name of it, but there's two of them. Gator RC has got a lot of stuff. And there's this other pattern site, I forgot the name of it. I have it written down someplace. They have literally dozens and dozens of different kinds of ball links. And some of them are quite expensive, but they look really good.
Yeah. And it's sort of an answer to Charles' question about 440. Where I'd reference 440 is for bolting it onto the control horn or the bell crank. It's so close that if you already have a 440 insert in, just use it. It'll work. But optimally, you use the 3mm.
Right. They are very close. Show us there, Gordy.
Okay. Well, I brought up my stack of ribs to show you.
Okay.
These are the ones ready to go in the new profile.
Wow.
Yep.
Hey, those look pretty good. Make another stack. I'll take them.
You get a Brodak, remember, John? Okay.
Hey, by the way, Gordy, I'm home.
I know. Okay. If you look,
that light, Gordy, it's kind of glary. That light, or turn the angle just a little bit.
There we go.
Thank you.
okay, this here is a rotor link. Can you see the aluminum sleeve right here?
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
That pivots inside the ball link.
Oh, wow.
So you don't need any threads on that end. You don't have to, well, you do, but you don't have to disconnect it. You know,
Okay.
if you press this end just twists.
That is slick. That'd take care of everything.
Yeah.
The nice part about it, every time they come up something good, they quit making them.
Right.
And Carl Shoot got me onto these, and he sent me one. I says, one, how did you buy? He says, well, he bought all the rest they had. So then he sent me a couple more. That's what I've been putting it on. And then after he passed away.
Well, thanks for showing that Gordy. Now we can't buy them.
Bummer.
Now you say that was a rotor link. That's for what, RC helicopters or something?
I don't know.
Sounds like it.
They're for some. No, there's one here on each end. We've got one here and one here.
Well, we can't see it. You got it too low, Gordy. There we go. Thank you.
Yeah.
There's one on each end, and you don't need one back here. But it's got a hex on here. You can put your wrench on it to turn it.
I'll take one of those, Gordy. Thanks.
Yeah.
I don't think you even slept since you've been home, have you, Keith?
What's that?
You built the whole airplane. I haven't got the trim on mine yet. You must have stayed up 48 hours every day.
I'm working on this essentially 10, 12 hours a day.
Oh, I thought it would be
For the
longer.
last 2 or 3 months, 3 months.
You've been going gun ho on it. So anyway, I kind of got stopped in here to do these ribs. There's all 16th except 4, and 4 of them are 1/8 inch for the center section. And then they get undercut on the leading edge on the 4 1/8 inchers. And then I double plank it across the center section to tie in the wing.
Did you weigh those things before and after the holes were put in?
No, I didn't, but I know they're light.
Yeah. I know
Air is lighter than balsa wood.
the holes, I did the sandwich ribs on the big job. They're all the same. And I weighed the ribs before and after I cut the holes out, and holes It was a half ounce. I was surprised it's that much.
Yeah, that's significant.
It
That's
is.
really significant.
A half ounce is a half ounce. That's great.
Yeah.
There might be more than that on these because this is a 55-inch wing.
Yeah.
Well, this is a 56-inch wing.
Oh, is it?
56, yeah.
Yeah, but this is
You got to be
20 squares.
you gotta be grain conscious, not even gram conscious. You gotta be grain conscious.
Yes, yes.
I think we're getting into mine's bigger than yours argument.
Yeah, I think bigger than your thing, that's for sure.
Well, that airfoil on that plane Gordy is about 2 inches thick.
Well, Keith, you do have a big job.
2 1/8.
With a name TNA on it. You know, the name, Tony and Addie, there was TNA Hobby Shop out there in Burbank for years, and I didn't even think of that name or that acronym, putting it on the airplane.
Right.
It's embarrassing.
Right.
Great people.
Let me welcome Philip Bailey. Hey, Philip, thank you for coming in. Appreciate
Hey guys,
it.
thank you. Good to see everybody.
Yes. So how you doing? What you been up to?
Trying to get the ringmaster ready to go to Brodak. It's been doing great, and all of a sudden this week it started acting up. I couldn't figure out what in the world was going on, but one of the guys told me the other night, says, you know, you do have a filter on that thing. You need to check the filter and make sure it's not dirty. So I pulled it apart today, and it looked like a daggum cotton convention in there. It was ridiculous.
This is a fuel filter?
Yeah. Yeah, I run a fuel filter whenever I can. And about the only time I'm running fuel anymore is old timers and classics. But this particular one, it just, it's been running so well, and then all of a sudden it decided to be a stinker. So I took it apart and cleaned everything out and put it back together.
Yeah, I knew a guy who said he wouldn't use fuel filters because they just got clogged up. It's like, all right, you guys got to come back for that. I didn't at all.
It's getting the Venturi clogged up.
The only comeback would be a good head shake.
Yeah.
That's a Facebook.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, what a day. What y'all do? What y'all spend your day doing that was interesting? I spent my day trying to work with a plumber. I went to take a shower last night, and when I went to turn the shower off, I had one of those with a knob on it that you pull it up and then you turn it to the left or right.
Right.
Well, I went to turn it down, and when I did, it just broke.
Yeah, good old plumbing. Yeah.
So I spent the day changing the whole valve and everything out. It was, I hate plumbing. I hate plumbing.
I hate plumbing too, but
me too.
But Carl loves plumbing. He did it for a living. Carl Reed.
Carl's a sick man.
The thing I hate doing is drywall and mud.
Yeah, but if he was a plumber, he's a rich man.
Well, probably.
That's it.
I got a buddy that showed up and gave me a hand with it. Thank God. He's a retired plumber, and he showed up and he's out in the yard and he's smelling. He says, "Smells like money." I said, "Oh God." I'm in trouble now.
Yeah.
I don't know,
I
Phil.
didn't realize how expensive the blasted valves were.
In there.
I spent the day trying to figure out how much inboard tip weight to put in my All-American. So.
Oh Lord!
I came to that.
If you squinted and looked hard, you probably could have seen my airplane waving at you from Indiana. But
Probably about 3 inches.
You couldn't see a heck of a lot outside today. We got the smoke. It's been ridiculous.
We've had haze. It's been kind of hazy out and everything, but we haven't really had any issue.
We're supposed to get it back tomorrow, Sunday. So.
Yeah, but see, you're in Canada. I mean, that's where the fires are. So, good grief. We figured you'd have the smoke, but North Carolina.
You guys out there, you can blame Quebec and Ontario for it. Leave us out of it.
We are.
Hey, Phil.
We're equal opportunity. We give everybody a
How
hard time.
come you can't hear me?
We
Yeah.
hear you. We hear you, Carl.
Oh, I was going to ask Phil if that was a Moore and shower valve that went
No, it was a
sour on him.
Delta.
I was thinking
No,
Delta.
Delta. It was
Delta.
a Delta, 30-year-old Delta.
Yeah, those are hard to work on sometimes. Sometimes you can't get on the part, and if you try to unscrew the dome, you end up twisting the pipes off inside the wall. So
Well, that's what happened when I went to turn it. The little ball inside looks like it's got a stick in it, and evidently it jammed in something. And when I went to turn it, it just twisted one of those 3 pipes. And one of them split, started leaking. So then I had to turn the water off to the whole house because there's no cutoffs on a shower.
No,
everything else is done on the showers.
Well, on those Delta valves, a single handle valve, you take the handle off, and then there's like a little dome there.
Yeah.
And you can unscrew that dome to get to that part that broke on you. But on a real old valve, sometimes that dome is so corroded that when you try and screw it off, you end up twisting the pipes off. So it's just best just to change the whole thing out.
Yeah, it's
going back to air model airplanes.
Yeah, I know. I'm just trying to help him, Charles. That's all. All right.
You want to help him get
I'll be quiet.
All right, I got a reply from Timothy DeBoard. Basically, the good news for him was that the ARPs are now worth. He has 6 top flight Nobler ARPs, and he said they're worth $300 each.
No, they're not.
No, that's just what they charge.
You can get for them. They're not worth $300, but that's what you can get for them.
Wow.
And that is good news for you. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I got my smoothie for 100, and I'm glad I didn't pay more than that.
I know I bought 2 top flight Nobler ARPs, and I don't remember what I paid for them. I don't remember, but I know it was not that much.
Well, 4 or 5 years ago, they were about $100.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
I remember I was so excited when I saw when they first came out. I thought, wow, but that's my favorite plane, only because of the nostalgia of me. I was riding my bicycle to the recreation center, and it was this man flying a Nobler, and he was really nice to me. His name is Shelby Hagberg, and I'll never forget him because it's the very first control line plane I ever saw fly. And he took me underneath these wings and he helped me get flying. So
that's terrific.
Great.
That's the first one that I ever saw do a complete pattern. That and a Thunderbird, but Thunderbird didn't do what maneuver in it. Nobler did.
Your audio is really bad, Phil, all of a sudden. I don't know what happened.
I went to the headphones. That's probably what it was.
Yeah, it's gone all scratchy.
That could be my voice because it's.
No, it's not your voice. It's
no,
it's
mechanical.
Yeah, it's electronic and sound. It's
scratchy.
Yeah, scratchy.
I don't know. Yeah. I might go back to the other then. See if I can try this again.
Yeah, try it again.
You guys remember a few weeks back I showed you the twin I'm building for Robbie, that test bed twin. It was with the carbon over the foam and everything.
Yeah.
Well, you remember me describing the canopy and how we did that? We used instead of using a good piece of balsa wood, for a test bed type airplane to get that shape. We used that Dow flotation billet foam, which you can purchase from Home Depot on special order. And it's not prohibitively expensive, but you get 1 block is all you're going to need the rest of your life. Anyway, I decided instead of using a big piece of, Ecuadorian gold there, that I put a piece of that flotation billet in, sand it to shape because it sands so beautifully, and then put a coat of Z-epoxy on it, sand it, another coat of Z-epoxy, and then glass it with 1/2 ounce glass cloth. And it worked to perfection. So I've been building a new twin. Actually worked helping Joel Costantino build an airplane called, he wanted a Crossfire twin. So he's calling it the Double Cross because it's a twin. I thought that was pretty cool. But at any rate, I used the same technique, but embellished it a little bit to make sure it'll match up to the mating surfaces on the fuselage and the molded shell and everything. I put a hard balsa bottom on it and a balsa back piece and a balsa nose piece before I put it in place and carved it shape. And then when you get it glassed, you go in and you just hollow it all out, and you got a piece that fits perfect. And let me see if I can come up with that photo.
All right, sounds good.
Yeah, okay, let's see. Now I gotta go back to share. Share.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, what do I do there? Did I screw that up? Okay.
No, I'm looking
No,
at
it's there, Bob.
looking at the airframe with the
Can we
canopy.
move it? Okay.
You're gonna have retracts.
You can see the one in the background, Robbie's in the background there. That's already painted, with a gray cook. But if you look real close there, you can see that it has a wooden 1/8" balsa bottom on it, and it's got an 1/8" balsa back that fits up against the molded balsa shell. And once you glass it and hollow it out, it's just like balsa wood. I mean, it's perfect, and you don't have to use a lot of good balsa wood. It works fine. You could use it for wingtips or nose block, whatever you want to use it for.
Very cool, Bob.
Yeah.
I know a guy who uses foam for wings.
Yeah. So anyway,
What did you
Thanks
call
for
that?
sharing, Bob. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
And I
So I
got.
got a
Go ahead.
Yeah, I got a flying story if you want. Stick with aviation theme.
All right.
I've been, for many, many years, I've always wanted to fly a Doctor Killer, the Bonanza. And they call them Doctor Killers because they had so many of the doctors and lawyers die in them. And my conclusion after having flown one the other day is doctors are a bunch of incompetent idiots when it comes to flying. My God, is a Bonanza an easy airplane to fly.
Its
But,
climb speed and its stall speed are pretty close together, though, aren't they?
No, you got a really big range, and 250 horse for the constant speed. You can climb out of anything pretty quick. And the engine doesn't have essentially a red line. I mean, it's 2,700 RPM on the prop and 27 inches. So if you're doing a go around or anything, you just firewall it and don't worry about throttle management, at least on a hot day. And, touching down to land, it's like any other low wing. It just come in, floats it in on the ground effect, and you're down. But, no flaps for takeoff. So you don't have those on climb up to manage. It's just the gear. So all in all, a pretty simple airplane. The downside is, it's got a flip over yoke. So I don't have dual control. So teaching the young fellow who only has 172 time to land on it will be a little bit nerve wracking, because when I get around to doing that, I won't have control for the elevator and aileron, just rudder. And there's no brake pedals on the right side either. So as soon as I touch down, it's saying to the student, yep, you have control, you got the brakes. But all in all, pretty nice airplane. But I did experience the V-tail wiggle that they call, or wag. And because of the dihedral on it and just the way the tail is, it's at certain speeds, it'll kind of weave the tail around. So it gives a wiggle in the butt. And it's kind of interesting. At first, until I figured out what it was, I just thought I was hitting a lot of mild turbulence. But anyway, interesting, nice airplane to fly, but ergonomically, a horrible airplane. Just the way all the auxiliary controls are laid out in the cockpit. But it's fun doing my job. Get to do a lot of different things.
Dennis, you built a lot of VTOL airplanes. Did you ever have any problems with fishtailing?
I never killed any doctors, but no, I always tried to get some side area. I always tried to get some side area down low to balance the area to stab way up high and everything like that.
When are you going to start on that new Fuga Magister?
I don't know. As soon as I get some of the other things cleaned up, I guess.
Send me a canopy and a set of plans, and I'll build one.
I don't have a set of plans, so.
Shame on you.
That's where I got.
Why don't you have a set of plans? I've been nagging you about that for the last 2 or 3 years, Dennis.
I know.
Get in line. I've been nagging them for about 25 years.
Yeah.
Well, that explains everything.
And selling all wine before its time. So,
That was a gorgeous airplane, though.
It was. I don't think Al Baby thought so.
I don't care for it at all.
Are your audio still messing up, Philip?
You still have that plane,
Yeah.
Denny?
yeah.
Well, you can draw plans.
What year did you build that plane, Dennis?
72.
Dennis
Oh, so
Newton is in the house. Thank you, Dennis, for coming in.
It's what, 50
It
years,
won the
51 years old
Walker
now.
Trophy that year.
Yeah, so it's eligible Super 70s or Nostalgia 30s. Classic.
It's nostalgia, not classic legal.
Yeah.
Hey, Dennis, did you hear the news? I'm talking about Dennis Nunes. Did you hear the news about the World Championships coming to Muncie next year?
Yes, I did.
Exciting.
That is. I know Dave has been wanting to do that for quite some time. So I have something to show you if you'd like.
Yeah, please do. Let me make you big. I think you.
Hopefully I can do this right. Let's see here. Camera. Let's see here.
There you go.
Oh, wow.
It's got the base to it on there now. We got a little touch up to do, but it's getting there.
It looks nice.
I can't wait to see the trim scheme.
Yeah, Jim B's been doing that, working on that, and it's done. So probably within a week we'll probably be doing something. He's in Italy right now, so I gotta wait till he gets back from Italy.
Oh, so you're not going to use the intersecting hockey sticks this time?
No, it's completely same colors, but different. Way different.
That's your Nats plane, is it, Dennis?
Well, I won't be going to the Nats this year, but yeah, it'll be a Nats plane. So, and you can see it might be a little foggy there.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Aw.
That's cool.
So,
Very, very cool. That's all right.
Rabbit season, duck season.
Or succotash.
So is that a hatch there behind the canopy there, Dennis?
What's that?
Got a hatch there behind the canopy? I see a brake line.
Yeah, this whole thing's a hatch. This all comes off.
Nice. Very nice.
You can adjust the controls.
Yes.
Good idea.
And because I got an accelerometer back here, and then I get access to my battery and everything through the top.
Mm-hmm. Very nice.
So anyway, I thought I'd just give you an update on it.
Hey, I appreciate it. Looks good.
Looks good.
Nice.
Hey, Charles.
Yeah, Gordon.
No, it's Jim. I'm gonna have to leave. I'm gonna go to bed.
All right. Hey, Jim. Thanks for coming in. I appreciate it.
Nice seeing you guys again.
Oh,
Talk to you later.
absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Take care.
Mhm.
So in the chat box, we have Mark Lumen. He's a member of our YouTube channel. And so is Timothy the Board, if I didn't mention that earlier. But Mark Lumen says, gotcha like, fun fly in Topeka Sunday. And he gave us 4 thumbs up. And then Arnie Goularte, I think, is also a member of our YouTube channel. Says, hi, guys. Hi, Arnie. Thanks for coming in. And thanks, Mark Lumen, for coming in, too. Appreciate it.
Hey, Charlie, I got to show you how I'm spending retirement and how I spent COVID.
All right.
Okay.
Wow. Look at that. Wow, what a fleet.
I got carried away.
Oh, that's great.
You got enough airplanes that we come visit, we got something to fly.
Yeah, but they're going to be more than $300 a piece, like those ARFs, you know.
Oh, those are beautiful planes.
Some of them are older, but that one up in the top right, that's old Buddy Weeder's Ryan's Eagle. Betty gave that to me.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
Nice.
I don't know what to do with that. I don't want to let it just rot away, but I don't know what to do with it. You know.
I like how you have your planes hanging against the wall. I like that.
What's that? Oh,
I
the
like how you're holding your planes up, how they're
rack. Yeah,
the rack.
that looks good. Oh, anyway.
Very nice. Thank you.
Yeah.
And Tony Sambendetto, he's also a member of our YouTube channel. He gave us a like. Thank you very much, Tony. Appreciate that. Anybody in the chat box have any questions? We got some very knowledgeable people in house. So fire away if you have any questions. Looks like Dennis Adamus is going to show something here. Let me make him big.
Hopefully the Magister.
You're already big, Dennis.
Yeah.
There we are.
Wow.
There you go.
Dang, that's gorgeous.
Very nice.
Excellent.
So
That
how
was
old is
built
that
in
plane?
72.
Let's see. Little better angle.
Look at that.
Look at that.
Should have put a spinner on it, man.
Yeah. I had a special spinner for it. It was a Vico 2 1/4 that my dad cut the back of it off to make it a 2-inch. And because of that, it was a real short
Bullet.
shape.
Mm-hmm.
2 inches diameter, maybe 1.5 inches long. But that spinner
cool
got
stuff.
lost somewhere. So anyhow.
How good that's going to look electric without that engine head sticking down.
Oh, absolutely. It'd be great for that. So
How many
About
Bob,
8
what
or
I'd
10
really like
years
to
ago.
do, if I ever do get my act together, I'd like to build 2 of them. I want to build, duplicate this one, modernized. And then of course I'd like to fit it up with the high aspect wing, which is what it really needs. It needs like I think it's a 12:1 aspect ratio full size.
Wow.
And I ain't going to go
Whoa.
that far, but if I put even a 7:1 on it, it would look pretty awesome.
Well, the nice thing about that high aspect ratio wing that long is that your lines only have to be 4 feet long.
Very good.
The full size ones look great in the air too. About 10 years ago, an old acquaintance of mine, Bud Granley, was flying one of his, flying his in the air show circuit. They ever sound and look good.
Mm-hmm. There's a
I want one.
There's a video on YouTube. It's some valley somewhere in I think it's around Death Valley or something like that. They show a whole bunch of jets flying by, and a lot of different airplanes, actually, even some C-130s and stuff. Well, somebody snuck a Magister in on that, and it's
These full size or model?
no full size, and it was just kind of, watching all of these other modern airplanes and stuff, and then that thing comes whipping through there. So I guess they were the Belgian Air Force one, the red one like that, is the most famous, color scheme everybody remembers. I guess when they flew their air show routine, they used to take off, they'd firewall the throttle, and they wouldn't touch the throttle for the entire air show because they just didn't have that much power. They had a couple of little 600-pound thrust engines and stuff.
That one you're describing, what color was it, Danny?
I'm sorry?
That one you're describing, do you know what color it was?
Well, the Belgians were red. There was a real pretty French one. It was dark blue.
No, I'm talking about the one that mixed up with the other ones that surprised you.
Oh, that one was basically silver with some other trim colors on it. I think it had some orange flashes and stuff on it.
Okay, that's not Bud's then. His was black.
Okay.
I want one.
They're pretty cheap to buy. I mean, they're only around, in aviation terms, they're only around the 100,000 mark.
Yeah.
Let me
one came up on Trade-A-Plane a few years ago for $85,000. It had spare engines and everything else. It's like, my God, that's less than a pickup truck. So
It costs you a lot more than a pickup to run, though.
Let me welcome Steve Hines. Hey, Steve, thanks for coming in.
Hey.
Nice, Steve.
Hey,
Did
Steve.
you hear the announcement about the Worlds coming to Muncie in 2024?
Maybe. We put a bid in.
Okay.
I didn't hear that. I got a new son-in-law as of today.
Oh, that's right.
Congrats.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
It didn't involve a shotgun, did it, Steve?
No,
Actually,
the
that's what
fast
Steve
thing.
specialized in too, was shoot, skeet, right?
yeah, they didn't even let me know until 2 weeks before.
Hmm.
They had everything ready to go, but it was really nice. It was just 4 of us there, and his mom, me, and Samantha and Carson. So
Terrific.
yeah, they had it all planned out. Yeah, went off without a hitch, and off they went. So
Is he gonna let her fly stunt?
yeah, he tries to get her too a little bit, but he was even talking to her some about going for the tryouts this fall.
Mm-hmm.
We'll see.
Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of people. There's gonna be a lot of people at that tryouts if this bid goes through.
Yeah, but I don't think there's any woman there that can beat her. Somebody's going to have to really up their game, because she can go as the woman on the team. But yeah,
that'd be cool.
So yeah, we'll see what happens. It's just school is just so much for her right now. She's working full time and doing an accelerated master's, so it's a deal. She's dropping it from 2 years to 1 year.
Well,
and she's over halfway through now, so yeah, we'll see. She's got to do that internship, and that's what's kind of when that starts and finishes and stuff like that, how much time she'll have. But
Excuse me.
But yeah, that'd be nice if it was in Muncie.
Yeah. Why
haven't they picked anything so far anyway? Nobody else applied.
Nobody put. Only other bid was that I understand was Italy put in a bid, but they couldn't find a place to hold it. Apparently that fell through, so they had to retract their bid. And the only other place that might put in a bid is Spain, Valladolid again, which was a pretty nice site.
I heard that Mongolia put in a bid.
According to FAI, the only bid that's in right now is ours.
Oh, okay.
You would think that would mean that we're going to get it.
You would think.
But we're dealing with the FAI, and absolutely there's no
FAI.
such thing as a sure thing. So
How did they talk the AMA to even put in a bid?
I think they were actually anxious to put it in bid.
Oh, okay. Because I know a few years ago they were saying that they'd never do another one. But
well, the regime there has changed, and I think the frame of mind of AMA has changed, maybe to a better, more towards being conducive to a competition environment, which it wasn't in the past. They actually wanted to get rid. I think they wanted to get rid of competition.
yeah, that's what I had a feeling too. It's like, we all paid for such a nice place to fly for every, from free flight to anything where they could hold the world championships. And I mean,
well, it's also good for the town. A world championship brings in a significant amount of revenue for the town. So I think maybe they're working with the Muncie, mayor and everything, and trying to and the Chamber of Commerce. I think that it's very beneficial for AMA to do something like this, because then the Chamber of Commerce looks favorably upon AMA. So
right.
Yeah, more to it than just
do,
the competition.
If they want to do something or whatever, I mean, they may even get help at repaving things or upgrading things or whatever, just for the amount of money that it's going to bring into the town.
Yeah. Maybe.
You know,
Well, it's
Would
good that
they
AMA is
have
on
that-
board.
I'm sorry, would they have that adjacent to the control line nets, you think?
I'll have it after the control line nets. It's scheduled to be after the nets, the week after the nets. And we're going to have that's also the week of the IRCHA Jamboree, the helicopter jamboree, the big flying. See, I've known about this for a while, but I was sworn to secrecy. I couldn't say anything. And today it all broke. IRCHA had the whole site practically locked up for their jamboree. So Bill Lee, God bless him, he went to IRCHA and said to them, "Do you guys really need that 600 by 600 grass runway site for your jamboree?" And they said, "Well, no, not really." He says, "Can we have it for the World Championships?" They said, "Sure." Nobody bothered to ask them until Bill Lee went and asked them. He said, "Hey, can we use that week?" And they said, "Yeah, sure."
what grass strip is that, Bob?
The 600 by 600 grass field that we fly on. They fly classic and old time and intermediate and beginner.
Oh, okay.
That's
Yeah, they
600 by
they
600.
need
They
that
fly-
for the combat site anyway, so they
Yeah, it's
just,
adjacent. That's the combat site's not part of that 600 by 600. That's an adjacent site.
Yeah.
I think it's called Site 5, and they're going to probably put in pads, center pads, and do some work on it. I'm sure.
okay.
What will that be for, just practice and stuff, and then
Yeah.
on the L pad for the regular competition?
Right, and according to FAA, we'd love to run it with 4 circles like we run our nationals, but they won't let us do that. It's got to be run on 2 circles, which makes it very unwieldy because you got a lot of people there. Sometimes one round will take 2 days.
Right.
And then of course you're over a wide variety of weather over 2 days. So it's not really fair to the competitors as far as I'm concerned, but they won't budge on that.
Yeah, you get 2 flights in front of the 2 set of judges, and
Right.
that's how it is.
Well, at least you've got an organization that's, supporting you guys with FAI. Ours is dead set against it. They tried to change our constitution and get us out of the Canadian Aero Club, which is their governing body for FAI for all aviation in Canada. And we put the squash on that, but I don't know what their mentality is, but they seem to be anti-competition now.
Jeez.
Man, we need a change.
We were like that for a while. I mean, it was a long while that we were kind of anti-competition, and so.
And they were saying
you
that it
hear
costs too much. Well, it's a pittance for the annual revenue to belong to the Aero Club.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I hope it's a win-win for AMA and Muncie. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to 20 years. Like we say before, the first one we had here was in 2004. 1984, and then 2004, and now it'll be 2024. It's 20 years between them. That's coincidental, but that's just how it worked out.
Yeah, and they should be able to save up a little bit of money in 20 years to put on a deal like that. Yeah, that'll be a good deal, no matter who flies or whatever. Yeah, that would really be nice. I mean, I don't think there's any other place in the world that has a facility like we have there.
Well, down in Brazil, there's some really nice facilities, but they have never put in a bid as far as I know.
Oh, okay.
They got some beautiful sites down there, but manicured, just gorgeous, landscaped and really pretty. Yeah, you're right. Muncie's an ideal place to have it.
Every 20 years, we ought to be able to have a heck of a bash.
You're breaking up, Phil.
What else to do?
Maybe you need a reboot, Phil. It's been your sound's been getting worse and worse.
Yeah.
Let me try that.
While he does that, I have a comment from Tony Sambendetto. He said, "What's the number one thing to look at when your plane turns better outside loops than does inside loops?"
Number one thing to look at, I would say incidence of the stabilizer versus the wing.
And you might try wheel, depends on, people use them great big old fat wheels and they got drag like crazy on the bottom of the airplane.
You ever notice that Noblers always turn tighter outside than they do inside?
Yeah.
I think it could have a lot to do with the juxtaposition of the wing and tail and the motor center lines.
Oh, okay.
Probably has something to do with those banner wheels too, right? So
It could be, yeah.
you had to have banner wheels on your Nobler.
Concrete wheels.
Well, I guess I'm surprised nobody mentioned just basically adjusting the push rod between the flap and the elevator.
Do that
Or
too.
just assume that people do normal bench trimming to get everything, but you're right, you should assume that.
Don't assume.
Yeah. Tressler, when we gave him one because it flew so bad like that. And he redid the landing, took them little things down the landing gear off. I don't know what they were for. They weren't wheel pants, but he took that off and different size wire or something, and he said it flew great.
Huh.
But yeah, there was just so much drag with them big old wheels and.
Well, I imagine those gear leg fairings on a Nobler, if they're put on crooked and not carefully, they probably really affect the flight characteristics too.
They do.
Well, these were fairly thick too, and I think whoever put them on didn't
streamline them.
Yeah, didn't streamline. And why they were so wide, probably easier to get the wire in or whatever. Cut it only on one side and match it or whatever. But yeah, he stripped all.
A piece of music wire has far more drag than putting on those fairings. You know what the 5-to-1 rule is, I'm sure.
Yeah.
The drop tanks in World War II, they were so thick. The drag is lower on something that has a 5-to-1 aspect ratio in cross section. So everybody thinks that like a piece of music wire would have less drag than something like a wheel pant, but it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, wheel pants have far less drag than the piece of wire sticking down.
Wow.
And here's how much I have an exact way of telling you how much wire drags. On the first test bed twin we built, we had retractable landing gear. And the first day we went out with it, Buddy wanted to retract the gear right away. I said, no, we're going to get the motors running today. So we spent the day getting the motors running right, never retracted the landing gear, which were just wire. We went back home and charged the battery. We put 2,400 milliamps back into a 4000 4S. The next day we went out and retracted the landing gear, came home, charged the battery. We put 1,800 milliamps into a 4S. That's 25% less power usage with the gear gone.
Wow. Yeah.
But you look on full size planes, and probably the same holds true for models. The old school ones that had the exhaust pipe sticking straight down into the slipstream. They said that was the equivalent of probably putting 3 feet of pipe extension on, just the exhaust gases coming out the drag from that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Amazing how much little things will cause drag. But every time I put wheel pants on an airplane, it flies way better than it did with just wire sticking down.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Well, yeah, look at pattern ships. When you take off, how much up you have to hold, and when you retract the gear, you got to be ready to come off that stick. That thing will climb like crazy after that.
Yeah, I find that in full size planes too. When I take off and I retract the gear, immediately the nose wants to poke up because the nose gear is shifting the CFG rearward, not just the drag.
Right. Yeah.
Well, we got Tom Ramel provided us with a like. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate that. So that brings us up to 25 likes. Thank you very much. Please consider giving us super chats and subscribing to the channel. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe. It does cost you to do a super chat, but that helps us out. And we're gonna be ending.
You become a member, you don't notice it coming out of the account every month.
Yeah, I mean, I have the $4.99 come out of my account every month, and I don't have to. And it's like the cost of going to Starbucks and buying one of their lattes just once a month.
I'm all beat. I'm heading for bed. I'll see you guys.
See you, John.
All right, see you, John.
Good night, John.
Take care.
Hey, John, you gonna be here Monday night?
Yeah.
That'd be great. Thank you.
Oh, no, wait. No, I won't be. Not until
Okay.
later.
I'm gonna miss you Monday night because I think people are gonna be at Brodax tired and probably have
Yeah.
less people coming in. So if you can, I appreciate it.
Yeah, I'll try.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey there, Charles. For the guys showing up at Brodex, I got 4 dozen of pepperoni rolls bringing up for Monday morning.
All right. Very nice.
Many of you guys are going to be there.
Thank you, Ed. It's appreciated.
I'll
What,
be there.
Yeah, I pick them up Monday. I ordered them.
what do you got there for us to see, Dennis?
Well,
Dennis,
this is actually for Dennis Nunes. He's the one who put me onto this.
Line cutter.
That's
Hot
it.
line cutter.
I am totally, I am all pro on my Spectra lines now, Dennis. That's all there is
Is that
to
the
it.
one that burns? Is that the one that
Absolutely
burns?
no compromise. So I managed to burn my finger and everything. So
very good.
Hey,
What is it?
Dennis. I was talking to Charles. I hadn't called Sparky yet, and I was going to, but wondering about if Buzz would let us maybe use her internet and have you guys do some Zoom meetings, like during the day, bring people in just to say hi and what's going on and stuff like that. And we can take up a collection. You know, I'll even just, you know, like call the hobby shop and give the hobby shop some money, you know, and that way it can go to them. But
You are coming, aren't you, Steve?
no, I had, because Samantha got married and stuff, and I got it now babysit cats and all that kind of stuff with. But yeah,
Dogs I can handle, cats I can't.
cats.
I'm just the opposite.
Cats are so.
Well, see, I'm allergic to cats. I like them. I like them. I got a friend who's got a Mancoon and a Persian. Persian I love. The Mancoon.
Yeah.
That thing's got a paw near as big as my hand. I'm not kidding.
But
So
yeah,
I figure
a lot of my going money this year is gone now.
All right.
Yeah, I know. I had 2 daughters. I know what you mean.
So
yep.
Hey, you guys,
Back to airplanes.
we have Tony Sambendetto in here, and he had a question about his airplane turning quicker on outsides and insides. So you want to show us the airplane, Tony?
Yeah, so you guys were talking about the wheels and such. I did put large wheels on I originally started with, but that's because the field is really high. But the aspect seems to be the same. It's hard to get in the frame here. I'd have to,
Do us a favor, hold that airplane dead side view to the camera. All right, now hold,
upside down or right side up?
raise it up a little bit so we can see the flap. Now neutralize the flap and let's see if we can see where the elevator is. That's what Dennis was.
Yeah.
Let's see if I can get it this way.
So if you neutralize the flap's a little down now in here. Just neutralize it. Neutralize it. There you go.
It's neutral there.
See if you can hold it. Dead
Sorry.
neutral.
Just hold it steady.
It looks like the elevator might be a
touch
little
down.
up.
Yeah, I see.
Got a little
I
up
agree.
elevator.
Yeah. Shorten your push rod a little bit and see if that helps.
All right.
To the elevator.
Definitely turns a lot better inverted than it does regular.
That is some of the shiniest film I've ever seen. Do you polish your film?
I just Windex every time,
Yeah, I think it's really shiny.
The other thing you
I've
do is check.
waxed it before with that spray on wax, but it seems like it reacts weird with fuel, so I just clean it every time. It's old school Monaco.
So
you tried waxing 30 years old.
2 more things you might want to check. Check your engine thrust, see if it's dead straight, and then also check your wing tail incident. Make sure that the center line of the wing is parallel to the center line of the stabilizer. If the leading edge of the stabilizer is any bit at all down, you got a problem in relation to the wing.
Can you see the location of the control horn? bolt-on horn needs to be directly, I mean, just absolutely dead over the hinge line.
Hinge line, yeah.
Both of them, by the way, both the flap and the elevator.
You're back. Yeah,
It
you're
looks like it's
You're
back a
back.
hair, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that what about at the elevator? Let's see that one.
The elevator.
It's supposed to be directly at the front of the flap.
That line of holes where you put the push rods in, that should be directly over the hinge line.
It
All right.
is.
And same on the elevator too. What's that one? Can you
Here it
show us
doesn't
that
look
one?
like it.
That
Looks like it could be, well, maybe, okay.
Oh yeah.
No, it is.
There it is.
Yeah, it's
Let's
hard
see
to tell
elevator.
on the
Let's see the
camera and stuff,
elevator.
but the illusion, it looks like it might be back a
back
little
here.
bit.
Yeah, the elevator.
You wanna look back here.
Yep.
All right.
All right. That looks like it's
That's forward.
ahead.
That's
That looks
ahead.
like
Looks like it's a little
forward,
ahead
yeah.
of it.
If it's ahead, it would give more down elevator.
There you go.
I can't really see.
See how much down elevator versus up elevator you have.
How much up versus down?
Yeah, check your throws of the elevator.
Okay. All right, so let's set that on the ground. See how I do this. All right, so we'll give her all the way up and then all the way down.
Oh boy, you got more down, I think.
Well, I don't give it full control when I'm doing the
Right.
maneuver.
No,
I'm
but
only, you're only given so much,
no,
when you're doing a
yeah,
maneuver.
I understand that, but the ratio is already off too. You know that it's going to go down quicker than it goes up.
So you think it's
that
the
horn,
speed?
try moving that horn so that the connection to the horn at the elevator horn is directly over the hinge line, and see if that helps.
Yeah, unfortunately,
This-
I mean, he's drilling new holes and stuff like that, but I don't see a graceful way other than that to do it.
Yeah, that's definitely ahead.
Yeah.
Is that
and then
a piano wire push rod?
It's
What's
a
it
it's the
clink
one
or-
that came with the kit.
He's got a
It's
keeper
a-
on it.
Yeah, it's a screw in with the keeper. And yeah, it's the one that came with the kit.
You have the hinge lines taped?
They're iron-on hinges.
Oh, okay. So they're sealed.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That keeper at the back, is that soldered to the push rod or screwed on?
it's just a clip-on.
Okay, that on the threads there, put a jam nut on it. For sure.
Yep.
That'll
Lots of
improve the
airplanes have been lost
longevity.
because they don't have
Yes, they
that
have.
because of those rolled fittings there.
Yeah.
Hey, Tony, I have a question, Tony. If you move the flap against the elevator, can you get the push rod to deflect? Does it deflect?
Good point.
If I move the flap,
Yeah, if you move the flap and elevator against each other and there's a push rod between them, does it bend?
In other words, hold your
He's
flap
got-
so they don't move. So hold your flap so they can't move, and then try to move your elevators and see if your push rod bends. I don't think.
I've got stabilizer bars.
I
in
know,
it.
I saw that, but still, you still might have it bending.
Oh, he's got two of them on there, Charles. It looks like I don't think that's it.
Yeah. He
No.
definitely
Why,
did the
man?
right thing.
It doesn't bend at all. It's pretty
Okay.
solid feeling.
Mhm.
SV11, it did the same thing. It turned quicker on outsides than insides, and because I was having deflection on my push rod.
Mm.
I was just checking.
Yeah. It's a lot easier to do the outsides than the inside, or vice versa.
You can try some skinnier wheels too.
Lighter wheels, yeah.
Skinny.
So
Everybody
it started out with lighter wheels, but I put these big ones on because of the grassy field.
You'd be surprised. Thinner wheels. If you go
It
to
started out with thin wheels, and I can remember flying this plane I've had since I was a teenager. I'm 40 now, and I've flown it my whole life, and it's, I never crashed it. But when I was a kid, I remember doing loops no problem. But I put the fat wheels on, and now that I'm at like the next level, doing all the different stunts, it's like, what happened?
Mhm.
For some reason, it won't do regular loops anymore, but it does everything upside down. And I pretty much find myself flying the whole flight upside down because it just flies better that way.
Well, here's what I want you to do. Do a careful bench check. Make sure that the flaps and elevators are neutral to each other. Make sure that you have equal amount of throw. Make sure that the motor, it doesn't have any down thrust or up thrust. And make sure that the wing center line and tail and stabilizer center line are parallel to each other exactly. If you get all those things, sorted out, it should fly right.
Bob, do you think the vertical center of gravity would make a difference with those heavier wheels?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely.
You know, I would suggest maybe get some of those
vertical center of gravity is far more critical than any of us ever realized.
I was thinking about getting those foam wheels.
Yeah, thinner wheels go through grass easier.
These are the DeBro big fat things that they're kind of heavy.
They plow. It's like that's why when you put a plow on the front of the truck, the bigger the plow, the more snow it pushes. The bigger the tires, the more grass it pushes.
Yep.
Yeah, what we were saying, Steve, was go with the big fat ones, but put those cheap, RC wheels on them, or the ones that come with the Brodak kits, because they weigh next to nothing and compared to those wheels, and they're still wide and fat.
Yeah, but fat is bad. Look, you can't get
You
them
can
anymore.
get the microlight electric wheels. The ones with the spokes and stuff. You can get those in 2.5 and 3-inch diameter. They're very light, and to Steve's point, they're like, I want to say they're about a 1/2 inch thick or something like that. They're very thin.
Yeah, maybe 3/8 inch thick.
Yeah, the 2.5s are 3/8 thick. I think the 3-inch might be a little wider, but not much. But they would be much narrower than what you have there. And
those are the foam ones that are really lightweight.
The large diameter will still help you through the any grass issues you got. So
the only good that a fat wheel does you is on a golf course. If you can
that would be such a simple fix.
Short,
I dig it. That would be so easy. Just change my wheels and that's it.
I would try thinner.
I had a picture up here before of airplanes on a rack, and I have a new Genesis, and I'm flying it on a grass field, and I have wheel pants for it for asphalt. But for the grass field, look how big the wheels are. If you look at that Genesis on the right, it's in the middle with the twin rudder. It's a brown, red, white one. Those are 3-inch ultralight wheels, and they're very thin and they're hyper light.
Okay, so there's we have wheels like that I've just bought for the other planes that I'm building, but yeah, those are thin.
Yeah, that's what you want for grass.
Yeah. Matter of fact, there used to be a set of wheels that K&B made that were like, they came to a point, and we called them grass cutters. They were real thin, streamlined wheels. We called them grass cutters back in the 50s, early 60s.
Yeah, back in the day, I mean, they were heavier in craft, but man, they go through grass.
Oh boy, yeah.
Yeah. We're so lucky here. Our field is good enough when we mow it that it really doesn't matter. Wheel pants, asphalt gear, grass gear, it doesn't matter. It's all good, but we're just kind of lucky that way that the field's flat enough.
This is Steve's point. These are the wheels. They're light. They're inexpensive. They're very, very narrow. And by comparison, this is probably what you have.
Yep.
All right. Now, as far as which one's going to go through the air easier, it's pretty obvious.
And the grass
and
easier.
To Steve's point, the large I think diameter is really important in trying to get out of the
diameter
grass.
more than width.
Yeah. And this happens to be a 2.5-inch wheel, but you can get it in a 3-inch also, which is even better for a grassy field, and it would still be thin. And that's basically what Steve's telling you. Use the skinny wheel, and even if it's a larger diameter, you're not going to be paying. It's not going to cost you as much as a regular fat tire does.
And as a brief aside, a lot of people don't like the white because it's so stark. You can paint those. You can paint them with testers, PLA, and enamel, and you can paint them any color you want.
you can get that chrome paint, make them look chrome even.
Yeah.
I've got both of those, what you have right there in your hands.
Yeah.
I've got the foam ones here, and then I've got the little thin ones.
Yeah, try that, and then
And I've also got a set painted. That's on a Ringmaster here, electric. This is one of my dad's planes here.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's the wheel.
There you are.
That's the
There,
ones.
you
Yeah,
got those right there. Put them on the
Banshee.
other airplane and just try it. Just do a quick diagnostic and see if it has an effect. And oh, by the way, I don't think it's
That
going
would
to
be
be,
so
you
cool
may
if it
find
worked.
it's not any one thing that fixes your issue. You may end up doing a half a dozen things to get it all away.
Oh yeah, he's got the MPI, so he's got the good wheels.
Yeah,
Bench
but
trimming is important.
Check out how close I am to finishing the kids' planes.
Oh, very
All
cool.
right.
Man,
Dude.
super. Just in time for Father's Day. Take them out flying.
Primer's on, spray paints in the bucket.
Hey Dennis, you remember Larry Scarinzi's termite?
That's
no,
Looks like it, doesn't it?
It's
no,
it.
I don't remember the airplane, but I know
That's
Larry
it?
did a lot
That's
of
the termite?
unusual
Yeah.
stuff.
That's it. Those are 2 termites. Larry Scarinzi's.
All
Yeah,
right.
that was right when he was flying those back in the 50s and early 60s.
Yep. That's Larry Scarinzi's termite.
Wow.
Electric motors.
termite.
It's all primer taped up, but that's an electric motor under there, and I got the plugins here, and that's it.
Very cool.
I'm gonna make one red and I'm gonna make one blue. One's going to my son, one's going to my nephew, and I'm gonna put wheels on them.
Very cool. Hey, Tony,
Yeah.
how far are you from Carmichael, Pennsylvania?
Pretty far, but my mom lives in Beaver Falls, so next year I'm probably gonna do Broderick.
Okay.
Where do you live? Where do you live?
Oviedo, Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's a good drive to Brodak right there.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'd fly up and have to like send a plane or do an ARF or something like that. I or drive up to bring a plane. I wouldn't be able to. This year is scrubbed. I kind of tried to put it together to go up there to just see it, but next year I'll make a plan to do a trip and actually go up and meet up with everybody and stuff.
Well, this fall you get them going. You bring the kids up there to. Is it the King? They call it the King Orange anymore up there, or?
Yeah, the KOI. It's in October.
Yeah, KOI. Yeah. Yeah, you should plan that. Get the boys flying and then take them up there by Gainesville.
Well, my son's already flying. The nephew's not yet, but my son's flying. He flies my little Flight Streak electric, no problem. So this is going to be a step up. These are a lot faster. I've already test flew one of them. It's pretty fun.
Yeah, you get him up. You get him up there by Gainesville, and
Gainesville, Florida.
They'll leave with all kinds of stuff and everything else. Some guys will treat them kids well.
Really, in Florida, Gainesville.
It's actually by Lake City.
I don't know that area, but I do know Gainesville.
Yeah,
Okay, guys, I got to bail out on you here. Got a graduation party in Kentucky tomorrow. So,
All right. Hey, thanks for coming in. And matter of fact, I
Take
want
care,
to
Dennis. We'll see you at Brodak.
I hope to see you Monday. So
All right.
we'll see. All right.
Sounds good.
Take care.
I'm gonna end the
I'm gonna
show.
too. Y'all be
And I want to
good.
first acknowledge Steve Smith for coming in. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to end this live stream, but thank you for coming on. Anyways, it's been a good show. Thank you very much. Hopefully you have a chance to do some work or on your airplane or go fly this weekend or we went to Brodax. Come back and tell us all about what your experience has been at Brodax Monday. So until then, fair winds, tight lines.
Yeah.
See ya. Let me see.